welcome back to the highly anticipated matchup. Not the exciting. It is exciting, but highly anticipated matchup. In the bottom right-hand corner, guys, we have the blue Terran player from ASL. Looks like he's getting, what, like 8 proxy 8 racks? It is Taranis. And the man doing the proxy raxing from Chobo Team League 6, the orange Terran player, Vespasian. And I want to say that was an 8 racks because he's on 8. I'm guessing he hasn't made an SCV after that. So we're going to call it an 8 racks. Not only is it that, but instead of doing the more traditional double proxy racks, he's actually going to throw down a gas. So that's going to allow him to get down Dem Reapers quickly. He is starting the second racks now, but Taranis, of all people, doing a really quick scout, and what do you know? He's like, whoa there. Whoa there. Now, I've played a couple, I got to admit this, I've played a couple games versus Terran where I've been like, oh man, they're proxy raxing, and then I just didn't actually look in their base enough. Like, I didn't do a full scout, so I just felt like an idiot after throwing down a ton of gates as Protoss. But it's not going to be the case for Taranis. Does he spot it? Oh, there, yeah. He spots the double gate. Reaper is on the way. If we look in the main of Taranis, he's got a Marine, but that Reaper is going to hit right about when that Marine gets out, I think. Maybe a couple extra seconds, but not enough to actually achieve the highly coveted damage of the probes. Or sorry, of the SCVs. There's the first Reaper heading in, second Reaper on the way, and third. 2 racks are up, and now SCV's being pulled. So is the Marines to try to attack this. This is going to be a test of Vespasian's Master League Micro. Just a reminder, guys, this is the winner's match. Whoever wins this makes it to the round of 8 and will be in the money with that dirty esports money, $15. Now, going up to 3 Reapers, and a 4th is started. Vespasian just has to reach that critical mass where he can start sniping, hopefully, these Marines. And I love just sending 1 Reaper up just to make sure nothing's there. And oh, he does lose one of the Reapers. That's huge right here. That's going to deter this by a lot. He's not quite going to get up that critical mass. 1 Reaper barely gets away, and the SCV is killed. So this bunker is not going to keep working. It does provide valuable high ground vision. So he can cancel it when he wants to. But for now, I'm actually kind of liking it. It's going to take Marine fire and provide high ground vision. More workers are being killed. But sadly, I mean, the Reaper control of Vespasian, a little bit waning. There it is. I don't think it was canceled. It may have died. I'm guessing it was canceled. But now 3 Reapers are there. At the same time, these 2 Reapers hiding on the left-hand side. 1 Reaper truly believes in himself. He's like, I got my staple guns. They can take down a supply depot. Sadly, they can't. But Vespasian's still working in there. He's almost at the critical Reaper mass, but he loses 1. The third one coming in barely in time, and now Marines are getting killed. We have a siege tank started, but now that's it. Early 5 SCVs that were pulled were killed, and the 3 Marines, I want to say another Marine is starting out, but now Vespasian's getting the kills. As long as he can kill a decent amount of these SCVs, he's going to be in a fantastic position. He's now up to 4. You can start kind of pinwheeling it around. 1 Reaper shoots as the other couple kind of take the SCV fire, but now 13 workers killed, guys. How many workers does he have? Taranis is 4, 5. But oh, is that me? No, flag wasn't me. I'm not sure, but it's now 4 workers to 8. Currently, Vespasian surprisingly is up. Normally, it's kind of scary if this doesn't work as a Terran player because you have like 8 workers maybe. But now, oh, loses all his Reapers. He can keep being aggressive, but I'd rather have Vespasian just hold a contain for a little while and start macroing up at home. Has he started to make SCVs? No. He's getting an orbital command, so I'm actually slightly worried, only because it's 5 workers to 8. And Taranis has a siege tank up. He's kind of having an issue dealing with this 1 Reaper, but he should be able to, and his second. This Reaper only has 1 health. 2 more Reapers coming in, but like I was saying, once that siege tank is in play, Vespasian is not going to be able to push in because he's lost so many. If he maybe had 9 like he did before, then yes, he could run up really quickly and deny it. But now, I mean, it's getting a little bit scary and all in for Vespasian here. 2 more Reapers coming out. And, I mean, he's got to get damage done, but the siege tank just gets better and better positioning on this mineral line. I'd like to actually see it on the other side of the racks. It would be able to get wider, more space behind that mineral line for Taranis. And I don't think there's a lot to defend on the other side. Maybe the supply depot, but even that can get hit with the Reapers having relative ease and not needing to worry. Finally, we see a factory starting at Vespasian's main. He's got 2 in gas, 4 mining minerals. So you got to just realize here, I mean, that's 4 workers mining minerals. That's 200 minerals a minute to the 500 of Taranis. He's defended it well. If Vespasian had pulled out when it was only down to 4 workers for Taranis, he could have transitioned maybe. It would have been a scary transition, but now it's looking so good for Taranis here. We see Vespasian pulling the barracks up to the high ground, and how's this going to work out? Ooh, Taranis, it's going to be really... Oh, nope, there he spots it. It's going to be really, really scary. But now Vespasian's got 2 Marines out, maybe hoping to deny this natural, and that's pretty much like I was saying. He now just needs to contain Taranis. And even though he got early damage in, I mean, it's 12 workers denying Vespasian. Even though it's not a lot, still Vespasian just has, I think, a very nice lead here. Where are those Marines killing things? Oh, the Marines are actually under the racks, so I couldn't see them. But they're working on the supply depot, hoping to get a little bit more damage done. And Vespasian has to get everything he can done. He now will supply block Taranis just slightly, 27 out of 27. But now the Marines, oh, this bunker has to be, this barracks has to be very careful. GG's called. Taranis takes game 1. This is Vani Research Station, and we're seeing a really early scout or proxy attempt from the man in the top spawn position. Who is he, you may ask? It is the red Terran player, Taranis. And he's looking to replay his opponent in the bottom spawn position, the orange Terran player, Vespasian, or his greed. No, I don't want to say his greed, his proxy. It may just even be a scout, like I'd understand that, but nope, there it is. Phew! I was hoping it wasn't going to be a scout, because then this would be a slightly boring game. Ren has thrown it down at the gold base, and this is an intense mind game. We see Vespasian checking the normal proxy spots, because like, ooh, I proxied you, do you return the favor? And that's yes. And this will pay off for Vespasian, because he's going to scout that natural base, or not the natural, whatever you want to call it. The gold base racks. Very nice for Vespasian. He is opening Reaper, which is probably the best kind of blind opening counter to this that he could ask for. We do see the SCV of Taranis get on out of there and cancel the racks back at home, starting his second racks, and the Reaper of Vespasian could potentially get some damage done. This could go very well for Vespasian. His Reaper is going to hit Taranis pretty early on. Well, what do we got? 30 seconds still on that barracks for Taranis. And a Reaper, once that finishes, not 100% sure how long it takes, but I think it's going to get there probably about when Taranis' Marine or Reaper gets out of there, because he is mining a little bit of gas. But it's going to be a little bit scary for Taranis. We don't see a Reaper, by the way, just a factory out of Vespasian. This is going to be a little bit scary, though, for Taranis, only because he's mining 1 gas. Does he get a Reaper? Does he go for that factory? If he goes for the factory, there's the second one in the gas. That 1 SCV in gas is really just indicative, if you scout that, of the double racks, because you only need a little bit of the income to start with the first Reaper, and then you can throw more SCVs into it to start that snowballing of the Reaper attack. But neither player will successfully get off any proxy shenanigans. Vespasian slightly ahead by 3 workers and a little bit of production time. Just something that's not normally hit on a lot, because generally players are quite even in production, especially at a level like this and in a mirror matchup. Not so a lot in TVT, more so in like PvP. You literally see everything being weighed at the exact same time. For now, though, Vespasian ever so slightly ahead. And it's just going down into a standard 1-1-1-ish build. His factory's done, getting his starport, and maybe he's going to try to do some drops. A big thing to think about is, I wonder if Taranis thinks how far he is behind. It's a little bit it's a little bit iffy, even myself calling who may be behind. Yes, his racks was a little bit delayed, but that may not mean a ton for the overall game. He may be able to catch up, 1 or 2 SCVs, not huge. Early on, though, it could be huge if we see a quick push out of Vespasian, which we may see. Siege Tank getting up, Starport done, maybe some sort of drop, but both players playing pretty passively. Vespasian is sending his first Marine, or a second or third Marine, not sure whatever the count was, one of his Marines across the map to see what he can scout. But like I was saying, for Taranis, it's a little bit of a mind game here. How far does he think he is behind? He could overcompensate one way or the other. Could be really greedy, thinking that's the only way he gets back into this game. He is up a game though, so that's kind of acceptable. But there, one of his SCVs actually spots Vespasian moving out. Like I was saying, if Vespasian let Taranis get into the late game, something like if Vespasian allowed Taranis to get in the late game, it could just potentially, none of that matter. Vespasian is really going to try to... Is that my internet failing me? No? Am I breaking up? Oh yeah, it says a little bit. Okay. Oh, yep. I looked over. Whoa, sorry about that. We hope it won't anymore. Going back to normal. But Vespasian is moving out for that aggression. Like I was saying, he wants to capitalize off that early damage done. Even with the defender's advantage, it's pretty even here. Vespasian working on those siege tanks, trying to do as much damage as he can before he's got to pull up and get out of there, but he may not need to because he's dropping in the main. Nope. Decides not to, just makes a big old U-turn with that medevac. The driver, everyone went flying around that cargo bay in the medevac. But now, supply depot's down. Maybe he'll be able to supply block Taranis. Oh, but does Vespasian? He scout that Banshee. Wow. Nope. You will not scout that Banshee moving out. And there's going to be relatively little at Vespasian's base because he's parade, quote-unquote, pushing onto the side of the map. Just Marines streaming across the map, one by one, not too many. Siege tanks, just because it's so early in the game. It's only the 8-minute mark, guys. Remember that. Even though it's gone pretty crazy both ways, we've seen a denied proxy, we've seen this push out. It's still only the 8-minute mark. Banshee just about to head into the main base of Vespasian. Neither of these players have had the guts to expand, the guts to take the macro advantage. And even though this Vespasian has Taranis on a contain, he can't push into this. 3 tanks are out, these players, and the defender's advantage is making it about even with that early attack. But now the Banshee doing as much damage as it can, attempting to work on this missile turret, but won't quite happen. Missile turret is up. Like I was just saying to hit on, even with slightly Taranis being behind, that defender's advantage slightly compensates. Normally, he'd have maybe 4 tanks to the 3-ish tanks of Vespasian defend with that, but that's not the case. They're completely even. Both players even have a Banshee. Taranis now has that Banshee back at home, but now Vespasian's going to start working on these siege tanks, and this is really what he wants to do. He wants to push back these siege tanks so he can jump up this ramp. You still see Taranis trying to get some damage done. How many units has he killed with this Reaper? Or sorry, my bad. Not Reaper. Banshee. He's killed 7 Marines so far, 7 SCVs, but now Marines do focus it down, even gets a Viking out for Vespasian. I'd love to see that go on to the other side of the map to gain some air control, get rid of Taranis' Banshee, but for now, this is it. Vespasian moving in, no stim, no upgrades at all for either of these players. This is going to be a multitasking feat for Taranis. Banshee working on the tank, Cloak goes down, but the Siege Tank barely will be able to push back. Only 1 Siege Tank out currently for Taranis, but now Vespasian has taken a nice hold, a nice grip on Taranis' neck. Siege Tanks are at the bottom of the ramp. See if they move up. Still kind of hanging out there. And now Vespasian has to pull back a little bit. Taranis' second Siege Tank is there, but first one so low, 3 health. If the Banshee actually switched over to that, he could maybe be able to kill it because his SCVs are not healing that Siege Tank. For now, though, pulls back. And now Vespasian is taking that nice death grip on Taranis' neck. Hopefully, these Siege Tanks will be able to get the job done. Only 1 Siege Tank with 3 health. And remind you, a Siege Tank does 50 damage versus armor, so it's going to slaughter that if that happens right there. But SCVs being pulled, Siege Tanks are just far enough away from each other, they can shoot at each other, and the SCVs are not able to get close enough to do damage. And GG! Vespasian rounds it off to 1-1. Welcome to Game 3 in this best of 3. This is a decider game to see who gets into the round of 8. In the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Terran player, guys. This man attempted to cheese in Game 2 and will be thwarted it is Taranis. And his opponent, top left-hand corner, the orange Terran player, Vespasian. One thing to remember right here is in game 1, Taranis cheeses, Vespasian wins. Game 2, or take that back. Vespasian cheeses game 1, Taranis wins. Game 2, Taranis cheeses, Vespasian wins. So, what I read from that is both of them have really good inclination on scouting, and then don't cheese in this last game. Maybe you're gutsy and try to make it happen, but I don't know how it's going to work out. Very early SCV for Vespasian, but it went to the third base. It's looking for those crucial spawn positions. My bad. Proxy positions for anything. And the same thing from the SCV of Taranis, but nope, yeah. It's actually going all over the place. It's like a pentagram. That one SCV's command or movement paths. So both making sure they know no cheese is coming out. Taranis doing a Reaper expand. Nope, cancels the Reaper. Makes a Marine. So Taranis doing a little bit more of an economic non-aggression expand, while his opponent Vespasian is doing the same thing, simply without canceling that very first Reaper into a Marine. Vespasian does get a little bit quicker of a scout and knows nothing crazy is coming out. The Marine of Taranis is out, so it will push it back. While for Taranis, he now does have the scout, and both these players see they're doing relatively the same thing. Taranis' orbital command is slightly quicker, but they're doing relatively the same thing. And the Marine of Vespasian will it? Yep, gets its first kill. It's got the taste of blood now, and I mean Vespasian is going to attempt to go for it in this game. Like I was saying, whoever wins this does make it to the round of 8. Vespasian's SCV in the bottom right-hand corner, and Taranis' main, or technically natural, is still alive and will be able to spot whenever that goes down. Normally, even if Taranis moves out, he probably won't scout as far left as the SCV is, but no, Vespasian's saying this is the time, 4.5 minute mark, I'm going to move in and see what I can scout. Let's see what he scouts. Essentially a 1-1-1 build. It's key if he sees the heli in here, because it could be, I mean, whether Tech Lab goes down after it, and this SCV is staying alive for a very long time, and there, it will be taken out. I don't know if it spotted the Hellion, but Vespasian knows everything Taranis is doing. On Vespasian's side of the map is kind of doing the same thing, but it's a little bit less aggressive. He's getting out a Widow Mine, getting up the reactor for their Marines, and just staying safe. Both players, or actually not both players, Vespasian still has his Marines in the Widow Mines in quite a defensive location. He does not need those Marines there in his main base. Maybe he thinks it's a drop. That's definitely a possibility with a Starport or a Banshee. But still, he's taking a much more defensive manner and position as Taranis. Taranis moving out across the map. Hopefully still not lagging whatever's happening to my game. Weird things, but for Taranis, he's got 5 Marines, 2 Hellions. Vespasian has 4 Marines, 2 Widow Mines. Taranis' aggression has 1 Marine more, maybe something with that, but that's still on the other side of the map. Widow or Medevac is just meeting up with the main army soon. It has been boosting all the way across the map, and it's going to boost up into the main. Vespasian has 4 Marines that may be in the movement path, but it's a little bit dicey still. Both of Vespasian's Widow Mines will be loading up into the Medevac to go on the other side of the map, and now both Medevacs passing each other in the night, and their first Medevac is in the main base of Vespasian, and Marines are working on, but 2 Hellions are going to slaughter these Marines. SCVs are being pulled. Widow Mines are also being pulled back in this Medevac, but now SCVs have been pulled. 2 SCVs going down so far. Oh, beautiful. 3 Marines up into the Medevac, and still the Hellions, they provide so much DPS against these Marines. They can easily push them back. And now, here's the Widow Mines, guys, but they were a little bit late there. 7 workers killed. Siege Tank is out for Vespasian, but, oh, barely. Medevac gets away. 2 Hellions still on Vespasian's side of the map and 2 Marines, but overall, 7 workers killed. It's totally worth it, and a lot of mining time. Vespasian says, you know what? The boys, they gotta be pulled. How many boys are there in this pull, guys? 13 boys. How many does Taranis have, you may ask? 26. 23. Taranis getting down his natural base, and barely. Medevac gets away with 20 health, does spot this force moving out, and this is the situation where Taranis cancels the natural. Taranis now hopes to have either Siege Tank or Widow Mine. You see the Siege Tank starting, Viking getting up. He wants to deny any air support so the Siege Tank cannot get damaged down to the high ground, and there's no wall, which is really important for Taranis, so It's going to be a little bit easier for Vespasian. On the other hand, that wall is a slight liability. But, oh, Widowmine does get down. Widowmine gets down to the entire army. Goes off on the medevacs, a little bit under the Marines. But now Vespasian moving up the ramp. As I said, he's got 13 SCVs here with these Marines. Now SCVs of Taranis are being pulled. One siege tank of Taranis runs into fire, runs into the flames, does get burned. But now this is a little bit dicey. Siege tank on the low ground is helping for Vespasian, but it's not actually able to work on these SCVs. Taranis is barely holding this right now, but still. Oh, that siege tank actually unsieges here to work on the SCVs near it. And Vespasian kills all of Taranis' workers. 22 workers of Taranis dead. Well, how much does Vespasian have? It's currently 4 to 7. 4 workers for Taranis, but those boys are mining gas. And now there is this one Viking able to deny. Maybe the medevac, maybe that Banshee, but there's a Widowmine there. There's Marines. And this is really dicey. Desperately, Taranis is trying to get out of Heli, and he pulled those SCVs, but the SCVs got pulled into a whole bunch of siege tank fire. Second siege tank came out for Taranis, but went straight into the flames right there. Vespasian takes game 3, going 2 to 1 and moving on to the round of 8 for the second time.
Thanks for watching the video. Please subscribe to support the ASL by hitting the button now.